A video making rounds on the internet shows Katt Williams releasing some truth missiles about the passing of one of the greatest musicians of all time, Michael Jackson. In his usual no-holds-barred style, Katt Williams insinuated that the pop icon was eliminated by some of the industry players right before our very own eyes. Though all evidence points to the fact that Michael Jackson ODeed on medication, Katt Williams alleged that it was all planned.
And the fact of the matter is, we watched this nigga get murdered right in front of our own face. And the nigga knew it was finna happen. He told us, and we didn't know. He named his last tour,
This Is It.
This Is It. White people, let me just tell you a little secret, if I could. Niggas have never said, this is it, in a celebratory fashion. Let me just say, white people do it all the time, this is it. Not niggas. Every time we say it like this. You know what, nigga, this is it. And they straight up killed that nigga.
This will be it. This is it. And when I say this is it, it really means this is it. Because,
According to Katt, Michael Jackson knew it was going to happen and gave his fans hints of plans by some evil individuals to end him, but they didn't catch his drift. Katt claimed that one of the hints was when he named his last tour, This Is It.
These will be my final show performances in London. This will be it. This is it. And when I say this is it, it really means this is it. Because, I'll be performing the songs my fans want to hear. This is it. I mean, this is really it. This is the final curtain call. Okay? And I'll see you in July. And I love you. I really do. You have to know that. I love you so much. Really. From the bottom of my heart. This is it.
Although the career comeback wasn't solely due to the superstar's desire to perform again with mounting debt, This Is It was designed to show the public, who had been bombarded with sensationalized tabloid wacko jacko headlines for decades now, that Jackson still had what it takes as an entertainer, and its proceeds would help the pop superstar get on top of his spiraling finances. Michael Jackson had written new songs and was rehearsing multiple hours a day in preparation for the concert series. But as the production team prepped for the shows, Jackson's already erratic behavior worsened as opening night approached. Emotionally frail and physically thin, Jackson was described by his makeup artist, Karen Faye, as very upbeat, but he was on the thin side.
He wasn't sleeping, and he was losing weight drastically. The week before he died, probably about 15 pounds, I would say.
And he didn't have 15 pounds to lose.
No. In fact, when I met him in March, one of my very first concerns was that I thought he was too thin to really be able to do a show.
You also feel that he was taking drugs at that time? Medication of some sort?
I really can't really go here because of impending trial and things like that. So we can't, this is kind of like a difficult area.
Well, were you concerned about him?
I was extremely concerned with Michael's well-being. I was very concerned with his well-being.
You'd seen him in dicey situations before. Were you more concerned than you'd ever been?
Absolutely, a lot more concerned.
He was like bone thin, and he grabbed me on the arm and said, "You promised me you wouldn't tell."
Tell what?
What I'm seeing.
Did you tell anybody?
Absolutely.
What did you say?
I was talking to the people who had the power to do something about it.
What were your fears?
I feared that Michael was physically unable to do the shows in his condition.
Did you think that he was vulnerable enough that he might die?
Yes.
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 there was just these telltale signs. When is someone going to pay attention? Because to me it was blatant.
What was blatant?
The way he was like on stage rehearsing.
What was different about it?
A lot of start-stops. Usually when we did a music video with Michael, they'd load the camera full of film, they would run it until it ran out. You didn't do 2 bars of the song and stop. That was Michael's energy. He fed off of what was going on.
He didn't have his usual stamina.
No, and then you start speaking up, like you said, to the powers that be, and it just seemed like it was falling on deaf ears, or we'll fix that later, or there's more, something else that seemed like it was more important.
Because when you see the video that was put out of the rehearsal of the This Is It concert, it sure looks like Michael Jackson's on top of the world.
Okay.
It's great editing.
It isn't the reality that we're seeing. He
Absolutely
wasn't.
not. Even if you look at the songs, the way they're edited, he has 3 different outfits on for one song. And most, they were taking bits and pieces from different rehearsal dates to be able to put it together to make it look like he got through a song. But we really didn't get through a whole song. I think we got through 2 ballads all together. We could do a show.
And this was not the Michael Jackson that you would work with for 25 years.
No. He didn't have the control that he was used to having.
One prominent theory surmised that MJ was eliminated on purpose, and Dr. Conrad, his personal doctor, was in on the act all along. They questioned why a doctor of his reputation would administer higher levels of a drug when he knew full well the consequences.
I was his closest friend. You see, indeed I was Michael's doctor. But I spent more time with him as a friend than taking care of him medically. I love Michael. I will mourn his loss forever. I am so sad that he's not here.
But the reason, of course, his great friend Michael Jackson is not here is because Conrad Murray killed him.
Yes, sir. I need an ambulance as soon as possible, sir.
On June 25th, 2009, a Jackson staff member made an emergency call to paramedics.
We have a gentleman here that needs help, and he's not breathing yet.
Did anybody witness what happened?
No, just the doctor, sir. Doctor, did you see what happened, sir?
That doctor is Conrad Murray, heard in the background frantically trying to save his patient.
He's pumping his chest, but he's not responding to anything, sir. Please.
Okay, we're on our way.
As paramedics made their desperate dash to UCLA Hospital, this was the image telling the world Michael Jackson had died. When did you accept that Michael Jackson was dead?
Oh, at UCLA. I can tell you, I tried the best I can. I was one man doing CPR, ventilating him with an ambu bag, and I did mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. But I wanted to help Michael wholeheartedly. I loved Michael.
LaToya, who attended every court hearing in the company of her family, tweeted several times, clamoring for help to get justice for her late brother. She thought that MJ was a victim of greedy and selfish people who didn't want to see him succeed in the industry. One of her tweets asked other witnesses to be called for questioning to help unravel the purported mystery surrounding MJ's death. The tweet read, "There are wives, girlfriends and employees who know exactly what happened to Michael. Please come forward and tell what really happened." She also insinuated that Murray knew exactly what went on the night her brother passed on, but he didn't want to open up for fear of retribution from the powers that be.
Because first of all, Michael told me that they were going to murder him. He was afraid. He was afraid for his life. The people that were involved in his life, the people that were controlling him. This book, Starting Over, is about my life. And it's about Michael's life. It's the parallel between the two of our lives. We share that same life where people come into your life, wiggle their way in, control you, manipulate, control your funds, your finances, everything that you have, and you must do what they tell you to do. And that's what Michael was going through. And he knew that everything that was happening to him was not kosher, it wasn't right, and it disturbed him greatly. And he kept saying it over and over and over again. Yes, Dr. Murray was the fall guy, but it's more to it than just that. He named names. He told me people. He told me to be careful of this one and that one. And in the beginning, I didn't, it's not that I didn't believe him.
Who were the people that he was saying?
People that surrounded themselves around him. People that worked with him. People that were with him the last days.
Any specific names?
Michael wasn't capable of doing these shows that he was supposed to do. Michael only agreed to do 10, and it's because they had him on such a tight rope.
Interestingly, fans were divided on LaToya's sentiments. Some agreed with her that the doctor was in on the act all along, given the reasons stated earlier in the video. However, there was a small section of fans who thought that the doctor was innocent of all the charges and that he was only dispensing his duties. According to them, the media and law enforcement were only scapegoating Conrad Murray when there were other issues surrounding MJ's elimination. For example, they pointed out that MJ was addicted to sleep and pain medications for years and that his family tried to stage an intervention in 2007. However, their efforts were thwarted when they got to the gate of the estate, only to be turned away by his security. They also claimed that several medications were found at the singer's residence after he passed, most of them under fraudulent names. According to one 2004 police report, the late singer was taking up to 40 anti-anxiety medications. Thus, the fans believed that Dr. Murray was only a victim of circumstance and should be left off the hook with a slap on the wrist. However, Paris Jackson, MJ's daughter, didn't side with such sentiments. Like LaToya, she believes that her father was assassinated by people who were after his money and legacy. In an interview with Rolling Stone, Paris claimed that all the pieces of evidence pointed to the fact and only true fans would know it. Absolutely, my dad was eliminated. Because it's obvious. All arrows point to that. It sounds like a total conspiracy theory, and it sounds like BS. But all real fans and everybody in the family know it. It was a setup. It was BS. However, unlike some fans and her aunt LaToya, Paris didn't want to place the blame squarely at the feet of Dr. Conrad Murray. She thought that the whole thing was a chess game that involved many people who had or wanted a stake in MJ's estate. So, she didn't think it was one person, but a lot of people. Interestingly, Paris gave a hint that she knew more than what she was telling. Her claim that it was a chess game suggests that the whole plot is complex and giving out secrets might only muddy the waters. But Janet Jackson, the baby of the Jackson family, had a different approach to the demise of the brother that she loved dearly and was close to.
It's still to this day, it's still so difficult for me to believe. It's you have to accept what is, but it's hard. It's
2 weeks later, his gleaming golden casket surrounded by love and grief.
What was it for you in that service that helped you, perhaps the most, in dealing with your brother's death?
There being some sort of a closure, I suppose, at that time. I haven't talked about this, Robin, with anyone. And you have to forgive me, I have this thing where I tend to smile. When things kind of get a little painful. I guess that's just my protective shield.
At the end of the service, a moment seared in public memory as Michael's 11-year-old daughter, Paris, stepped forward to give one final tribute.
And I just wanted to say I love him so much.
You were trying your best to comfort her. You were Auntie Janet at that moment? When she turned to you, did you just want to scoop her up and just protect her?
All of them. Not just her. Blanket, Prince, my other nieces and nephews. It's just tragic. It's hard for everybody. It's been very hard. I think we've been doing very well. I have a very strong family.
Janet didn't want a part of all the conspiracy theories and media coverage that were raging about MJ that she had to turn off the TV. According to her, the whole stuff was driving her crazy, and thus she had to tune out of the madness that was going on around her. She explained that she didn't have that proverbial thick skin to accommodate all the gossip back and forths and conspiracies. People can have rhinoceros skin, but there's a point when something's going to hurt you. Not everyone is stone. She claimed that her only source of news on what was going on in America America and around the world was her chef. In any case, following his untimely demise, the elites who had secretly tormented Jackson began to show their true colors. The King of Pop was publicly accused of taking advantage of some people years ago. But those claims, according to Michael's family, even as bad as they were, weren't exactly the worst part.
Two men who say that Michael Jackson sexually abused them as children are opening up about their experiences with the pop icon. Wade Robson and James Safechuck are featured in an explosive new documentary that premieres this weekend on HBO.
It's their support system that was the worst part. At the time, Oprah allegedly stood by the two men who accused the late singer of sexual assault in the documentary Leaving Neverland, a documentary that also opened the doors to a full-blown legal case.
Why, when your mother asked you in 1993, the first trial, why did you do the same thing that Anthony did and so many other people have done? Why did you deny it? Because that felt like a great opportunity to say, well, yeah, some of the same things have happened to me.
I did not testify out of thinking I was doing something good or knowing that what he did was bad. I was afraid of being caught. It was on the news 24/7. I mean, it was just being broadcast. And there was so much attention on it from the world.
So by that time, you thought of what you were doing as a bad thing, or just as a thing that you all did, but you had to keep it a secret?
I didn't think of it as good or bad. It was that old sort of wiring of, if you're caught, your life will be over.
The Jackson family filed a lawsuit against HBO following this. In an interview with the Tom Joyner Morning Show, Taj and Brandy Jackson, Michael's nephew and niece, maintained their uncle is innocent of sexual assault claims raised during HBO's Leaving Neverland documentary, which they tagged as one-sided propaganda.
You attach Michael Jackson's name to anything and there's ratings, and she took that opportunity. You know, I don't even think she did the research to the background check. Before the thing even came out, she had shot something, you know, that hour-long special, and so she was convinced no matter what, like it was going to be one way or.
Right. This was what they were doing. They were selling this regardless.
Yeah, they were selling it regardless. They didn't care if it was true or not.
And then later, you know, we all know that she deleted everything from her social media page. She took down the clips, you know, that she did with was it one of the guys, Wade Robson? And if anybody know about him, if he got on because of Michael, okay? Absolutely. He got all those Wade Robson experience, all the different things that he had. It's because of your uncle.
Absolutely.
So what makes you? I don't understand it, Taj and Brandy. Is you helped me get on, and you pass away, man, you gonna be the person that, like, I'll defend you to the core. I don't care what's going on. Like, you helped me. Like, what was going on with these people to get them to turn against your uncle like that?
Privilege. That's the word, privilege. You know, in terms of, I was taught to work for what I have, you know, and not to blame other people. What you have is what you make. They are people that expected stuff. They had a good life, and so they expect the estate and they expect the family to take care of them forever. And that's what, then it comes down to privilege. They don't want to work for it. They got to blame someone, so they're going to blame other people. And that's the big difference. There's other people that appreciate, you know, the kindness and the hospitality and what my uncle stood for. Right. But not them. No, they looked at him as dollar signs and as opportunity. And once he's no longer here, they're going to find another way to get that.
In any case, the circumstances surrounding Michael Jackson's experience are not unique in the industry, which is why fans appreciate the enlightening interviews that have taken place ever since his passing. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.